Actually, I'll put it up here. I should put it up here. I should put it up here where it belongs. That'll work. Then this light gets in the way. It kills me with that. When the light gets in the way. Okay. I'm not going to try to hold you long. This is D-Roy Cruz on my business channel. Y'all know that I've been really getting into this whole Filipina, living in the Philippines, retiring in the Philippines, visiting the Philippines, black men and Asian women, white men and Asian women, garbage for a long time now, since what, the beginning of 2022? No, the ending of 2022, the middle of 2022. My problem is that, and I said this in the last video, and what happened was I was using my phone and my screen recorder started acting up or whatever. It was cutting me off early without my permission. And then I would go and the video wasn't there. So the last time I did it, this was the third time around, I cleaned out, my storage and that, and I tried to go in there again. And this time it cut my videos off, but it kept them. And so the one that you saw before this one, this was part 2. This is part 2. And I'm doing this live so that I don't have to worry about getting cut off and everything I said. I have to go back and redo it. And I'm just going to go through a little bit of what went on in the last video and the video that I accidentally deleted because I didn't know that it was part of that video. So I deleted it. I thought it was a different video, but here it was just a part 2 of it, or a second part of it that got cut off. What I was saying in the last video, first of all, was I was talking about how it bothers me at the end of the last video, and there was another part to it. I ended off talking about black men in Filipinas, and all that good stuff. I ended talking about that. And I don't want to go into detail with it. I don't want anybody here to think that I'm using the race card to criticize white men or anything like that. I think that white men's love for Filipinas takes me back to a place where I don't want to go. And you really can't take me back to that place because I wasn't there. My grandmother got a little bit of it. My grandmother hated white people. Okay. And we was all trying to, us younger folks was trying to figure out, we know we don't like white people, grandma, but geez, you complaining about a white woman talking to another white woman in the line. But when black women do it and they do it longer, okay, and if you say something to them, oh, it'll go off on you. But as white women say, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. Okay, we'll be there. We'll be with you in just a minute, ma'am. And, then you come up to the counter and they roll their eyes at you and all like that. Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. What she was saying was important, blah, 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 blah. My grandmother just didn't like white people. And it took nothing for her to come all mad and upset over one little thing a white person did that she felt was, she felt it was white. Everything white people did that was negative. See, this is a lesson for you, all you races out there. My grandmother felt that anything white people did was negative. They did it because they were white. When black people do it more. Like if a black woman is holding you up in the line because she's talking to the customers, which is making your time in the line longer. Okay. Okay. She gonna roll her eyes at you before you even roll your eyes. Like, yeah, I'm talking. You gonna wait your turn. Okay. Keep the car warm because you're gonna be standing there a while. She gonna look at you like that. And then a black woman, because you was sitting there with your lips poked out, when it comes finally your turn to come up there, she'll be like, yeah, You look like you was getting mad. What's up? You look like you was getting mad. Okay. What we were saying was important, you know. Now, you could have waited or went to another store. Why would I go to another store when I got one right here in my neighborhood? You're going to make me drive all the way across town because your butt's black in my neighborhood. You want me to go, okay. I'm not here to put down white people, that's for sure. Okay. But the thing is, white men, to me, having this hard on for Filipinas and leaving these white women behind to get over there to the Philippines. Okay, to me, it takes me back in a part of time that people like my grandmother and other people would talk about. That was very bad and hard for black people. And don't get me wrong, there was a lot of black women that, because they were going through slavery, because if they was going to have any sex, it wasn't going to be with one, it wasn't going to be with their, now don't get me wrong, later on in slavery, there were slave families and they were having kids and they were cooking their own food and all like that while they worked for the white man and cooked his food and cleaned his house and all like that. But can you imagine a black woman in slavery and no one will touch her but a white man? And if she's good to this white man, if she's good to this white man, she's giving this white man what he wants. You listen to some of these Filipinos talk. If this black woman, this black slave woman, is good to this white man, and she does what he wants. You listen to these Filipinos talking on different channels. If she's good to this white man, she gives this white man what he wants. This white man will pull her out of slavery and let her live in his house. Especially if he doesn't have a wife. He'll let her live in his house and she can what? Clean and cook. Okay. This is why black women are more feminist than white women. Okay. Because if she does what this white man wants her to do, she can clean and cook and all that stuff. Okay. She can clean and cook and all that. And if he's pleased by her and he's pleased by the sex that he's having with her, you listen to these Filipinos saying stuff that these white men want their Filipinos to do. You're talking about some extreme oral stuff and some extreme anal stuff. And I was just watching a video earlier this morning where this girl was talking, Filipina, this girl was talking about how she lost her virginity by an old white man. Imagine how big his head is. He goes all the way to the Philippines and he does the one thing over there that he can't do with a white woman, is go up to some young white girl and take her virginity. Play that game like he's in love with her and then somehow he disappeared. She getting on there talking about, well, we was in love, so it doesn't matter that I lost my virginity. You lost your virginity to someone that's not there. Somebody was not in love with somebody. Well, we were in love. What'd you break up for then? So you ain't sitting there rolling all over that bed, sweetheart, like you just ain't going to be with nobody else. You lost your virginity. You're happy about it because y'all was in love and you ain't going to share, there ain't nobody else but him. That's not what you're doing. You want to get on these channels because you want white men, same white men that walked off with your virginity and got nothing to show for it. You want to sit there and talk about what you like about men. Oh, but it's okay that he took my virginity. I'm not ashamed because we were in love. That's every Filipina woman story. That's every woman's story that practices sex outside of marriage. And the girl sitting with her that hardly had nothing on, she had to keep closing her legs because that dress was all the way up here to her hips. Okay, she had to keep making sure because, you know, the camera kept showing a little bit of her underwear, you know. She had to keep closing her legs. But why would you put the camera on the floor? Why would you put the camera that low? Okay. I had enough of the Philippines before I even get there. Okay. This girl said, why didn't you just get married since y'all were so in love? She made these dumb excuses why they didn't get married. I'm a born again Christian. You don't ever make excuses to me why you didn't get married. The only reason why you shouldn't get married is because y'all met last night. The only reason why you shouldn't get married is because you're dating a guy that's a serial rapist, murderer, child molester, okay, robber, that should be in jail. And finally, because Christians don't marry non-Christians. That's why you don't get married. Other than that, I don't want to hear it. If I'm going to travel clear across the world to be with a woman, I'm not going over here to get laid. You know how much sex is going on in the Philippines with white men as well as black men? The thing is, the black men are honest, and they don't post it all over YouTube to be honest about it. Now, the white men will be honest too, and they'll post it all over YouTube, and then they'll say on one channel, oh, well, I'm going over here to meet a lovely Filipina, and she's going to be, I'm looking to get married. But when you got over there, you went over there with your zipper down, and you went straight to the bar. You went straight to the club. Over here in America, there are not no old men. There's no old men like me in the clubs. We don't go to clubs. We might go to the bar. We don't go to the club. But these guys, these older men in the Philippines, they go to the club. And they know they ain't going to dance. They just there to pick up girls. Now here in America, if you ain't got your dance on, now I gotta admit, these guys are spending more for drinks in the Philippines. They're spending, they're buying 5 girls at a time, drinks and all that stuff. But here we spend a fortune to get one girl a drink, and we try to make sure we getting some action before we spend one single drink on her, which you do that, not only you're an idiot, you're about to get played anyway. But the thing is, if you ain't got no dance, if you ain't coming to the club to have a good time for you, women don't find that attractive. They want you to come to the club with confidence and just get out there and dance. And if you're old and you go to the club and you can dance like the young dudes, oh, you might walk out of there with 5 girls swinging on your arm. Only one of them's going to sleep with you, but you walked out with 5, okay? But these guys will go over to the Philippines and they'll just go in the club and be standing around drinking, talking to the girls. I watch these videos, and there's this one dude, he interviews everybody. He interviews more ladyboys than anybody else. You cannot tell me that when you wasn't looking, he was getting sexual favors off of a ladyboy. Because that's all he interviews is ladyboys. He's fascinated with ladyboys. Why don't you just be honest about it? Even his friends were teasing him on video like, hey, man, go ahead and do it, man. It's okay. Go ahead and do it. You know you want to take him home. Go ahead and do it, man. I think there's a whole tribe of foreigners out there that are banging ladyboys, and everybody knows it. What goes on in the Philippines stays in the Philippines. Out here in America, you do something with a lady boy, it becomes front page news. Okay? Nobody's going to let you live that off. Okay? And I hate to tell you women, but one of the reasons why, I've been looking for this all this time. No. Have I? No, I haven't. One of the reasons why guys go for ladyboys is because ladyboys will do more in the bedroom for, during a one night stand. Ladyboys will not take it personal because he's a man, just like you're a man. If y'all go do your thing and go your separate ways, he's not asking for much. He's charging you less because he's a man. He ain't a woman. He's charging you less. And he's giving you what you want, because the only time he's going to get sex is when he gives you what gives you what you want, because gay sex, that is because if he doesn't, you have a bigger chance of finding women that will give you what you want than him finding men, straight men, that is, because that's what they want. Straight men, that's what they're out on the street for. They're not out on the street to meet gay men. They're out on the street to meet straight men in most cases. Okay? If you don't give him what he wants, or he don't give you what you want, you have more options than he does because you're not gay. Now, if you are in the ladyboys, if you are bisexual, so to speak, and I don't consider everybody that does something with a ladyboy every now and then bisexual. I call that a fetish, not bisexualism. But if you are someone that is practicing bisexuality, you have more options about getting laid or, having sex. If you call every form of sex to begin with, you have more ways of getting off, is what it is, than the gay dude does. Okay? Because he might have to wait for it and have to buy more drinks and have to do more dancing, but he can get him a woman to take him home. Okay? A real woman with a real, a real back cave down there. Okay? A real one. Not no post-op crap. A real one. Okay? That's enough talking about that. I'm just doing this because I'm live. But and I'm doing this live because last time I did a live video, nobody showed up like you're not showing up now. I do the same thing with Facebook, and then I come back later and I find out 100 and some people watch my video. Oh my God. The reason why they're not coming on here live because they don't know who I am until they watch my video. But I figure if I start doing a lot of live videos, people will start showing up and asking questions, and we can talk about things. People can give me information. We can share information and so on and so forth. Okay. But getting back to the black issue is white men running over to the Philippines because they have the money and running over there with their zippers open, claiming that they are looking for a traditional Filipina and traditional marriage. That's something you wait for. Even when you get off the plane and you land in the Philippines, that could take years if you want to be real about it. That could take the next 5 years more. You could be in your coffin by the time that really happens. But the fact that these white men, more than anybody else, and men from Canada and the UK is what I hear. Canada, UK, and Americans. They can go into the Philippines. And if they just take a walk down Angeles City, if they just take a walk down Manila and say hello to some girls out there in their skimpy clothes, they will get laid. And then they will pass this foreigner around from one girl to another. Okay, like even a Filipina made statements like the tables flip when you go into the Philippines. Like here, all the men are standing around looking at women, you know, posing here and there, hoping that these women will let them talk to them. And the women just walk them by. It's the opposite in the Philippines. The women are standing there looking at you and hoping you'll come over there and talk to them. Okay, you'll stop and say, hey, how you doing, baby? You know. But then, like men do with women here in America, they'll do it to you in the Philippines. They'll pass you around. They'll get what they want off of you. And once they get what they want off of you, if you say that that's it, they will let some girl that was standing right there the day you met her come and snatch you up. Because she got nice legs too. She got nice brown skin too. She got nice little boobies popping out too. She got nice hair too. Who doesn't in the Philippines? And these women, I've learned from watching these videos, these women, you know, are very, very, very serious about looking good. Everything from working out at the gym, especially for some of the women that got a little bit of meat on their bones, they like to work out at the gym to make themselves look more tighter, okay? But some of the thin girls that, you know, weigh 100 pounds or less, they're afraid to go to the gym because they don't want nothing messing with that lovely thin body. They don't want no muscle, no fat, no nothing tampering with that skinny body because they know their man likes that little skinny, weak looking body. Whereas the bigger women will go get a stronger body by working out, and they tend to be just as sexy. Okay. But these white men going over there with this attitude, oh, you know, I'm going over there to find a traditional wife, but I'm not turning down the bar girl. I'm not turning down the girls that are standing out on the street waiting for me to come over there and bother them because they all want foreigners. Okay, that's another thing. Like, okay, after a person becomes like living in the Philippines, he's moved to the Philippines. He sold everything he had and moved to the Philippines. He is now a resident of the Philippines. You mean to tell me I'm a resident of the Philippines, but I cannot own my house. I cannot own a gun. I don't even think I can own a car. I think everything is rented when you're a foreigner. You can't even own a car, if I remember correctly. And what a lot of these Filipino men are doing, not Filipino men, but American foreigner men are doing, is they're buying property and giving it to their girlfriends and wives that are Filipina, but it's really theirs because they're the ones that are paying everything on the car, the house, the motorcycles, everything. He's giving this girl everything. He's giving them everything. And some of these guys, they have homes in the names of women that they broke up with. So they basically own their home as long as their name is not on that home. So they can go in and out of the Philippines as often as they want to. They can stay in America as long as they want to, but the property is theirs as long as the woman, which Mike's Philippine journey exposed some of this too, where these men gave Filipinas everything. And they came over here to America, turned her back for a minute, and the Filipina took everything that he had, locked it all down, and when he got off the plane, he had nothing because they don't allow you to have anything. And so if you tell some Filipina, look, sweetheart, you my one and only, I'm going to buy the house and put it in your name. I'm going to buy the car and put it in your name and everything. Like Mike said, she owns everything. You need to go to America and turn your back on her. She owns everything. And I'm not living anywhere to keep renting. When I retire, I want to pay off everything that belongs to me. I want to pay off my house. I want to pay off my car. Okay? Now, I got to admit, as far as a house goes, well, as far as a house, car, and all that goes, if I decide to live in the Philippines with my Filipino wife, yes, I can put everything in her name. I might not have a problem with that. Put everything in her name because this is where I'm at. I'm not going nowhere. She's not going nowhere. Okay? So it's the same thing. But this is my problem. Here in America, you're no longer called a foreigner or a migrant or an illegal alien when you become a citizen of America. You are just as American as I am. Whether you Filipino, whether you Chinese, Japanese, Malaysia, you know what I'm saying, Thailand, whether you Spain, whether you Mexico, whether you Dominican Republic, African, you know what I'm saying, the Bahamas, the Caribbean, whatever. You become an American, you become an American. But all these Filipinos, I'm married to foreigner. I love my foreigner. When me and my foreigner have sex, we don't talk like that, and we don't do that to people here in America. That's what I love about this country. As much as I hate some of the crap that foreigners come over here and put us through, I love the fact that if you come over, and they try to act like, oh, let me tell you something about America. A Filipino can come over here to America and own a gun if he lives in the part of America where we have gun rights. Okay, certain states they've gotten rid of guns. I think California is one of them states. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. But here in America, it doesn't matter. You could be a terrorist. If we don't know you are a terrorist, okay, you can own a gun. Terrorists got plenty of guns over here, okay? It ain't Americans that are terrorizing America like in your country, the Philippines. No, it's people from other countries that come over here and terrorize America, which I can understand. That's why you don't want foreigners to own stuff like guns in your country. That's one thing. I can't own my house. I can understand not owning, you know, a whole plot of land like Oprah Winfrey, you know, owning a certain amount of Hawaii. She owns a certain amount of Hawaii. I can understand that, but I can't own my house. I can't own a few acres of land. I'm on your property more than I am at home in America, and I can't own a plot of land and a house in your country. I can't own my own car. Okay, it can't leave your country. If I leave, I got to sell it back to you. If I leave, I'm not taking your house here across the river with me. If I leave and decide that I don't want to be in the Philippines no more, that house goes to somebody else. But you can't sell me my own house. I can't own a house in the Philippines. if you watch this video, whenever you watch this video, maybe the laws have changed. Let me know. But here in America, everybody is a foreigner. I mean, everybody is an American citizen. Okay, here in America, everybody is an American citizen. Okay. Once you got your green card, you are an American citizen. And even before you become an American, you can own property over here. I'm pretty sure. Like, there's people that don't live in America. They're from other countries that own property here in America. Now, Donald Trump would be one to squash something like that. And I can understand if you don't live here, why you owning property in my nation? You don't even want to live here. You think you want to own property, but you think you're too good to live here. Just like that's how we got terror cells here in America and stuff like that. Is there's people that own land here in America, lots of it. They're never here. They're enjoying themselves in their native country, but they can come over here and walk on their property, have their own security, and they can buy and sell to their own people and keep it within their spaces right here on American soil. That is one place where I get mad at our government, mad at our White House, because we do too much to make foreigners, as you call it, foreigners, feel at home, and we're getting killed and shot and raped over it. Okay, we're losing our own properties and our own rights and stuff over this garbage. Okay, but if I'm living on any soil, I agree with Americans that if I live in your country and I'm there enough times a year, I should be able to own my own property. If I'm in your country more than I am in my own, I should be able to own property. And if I'm tributing anything to your country, if I'm shopping at your stores, I'm buying cars at your car lots, because I'm there more than I am at home, I should be able to own some things. Owning a gun might be one thing, but a home, a plot of land, I might be wrong about this. Let me know. Last I checked, foreigners, as y'all call us, cannot own property in the Philippines. Only Filipinos can own property in the Philippines. And that might be one of the reasons why Filipinas don't want to leave the Philippines when they marry a foreigner, because their family owns property in the Philippines. The thing is, you can come over, you can sell that property and come over here to America. I don't know about Canada. I don't know about, other places. I don't know about the UK. I don't know, about, Germany and all that. I don't know. But I know this. You can sell your property. People do it all the time in other parts of Asia. They sell what they have. They sell their businesses. They come here to America and open up a business doing the same thing. They come over here to America and buy a better house, a better looking house in a better neighborhood than that one. You know what I'm saying? Just like here in America, I can leave Pittsburgh with my black self, and I can move next door to, well, I don't live in Pittsburgh. I live on the outskirts of Pittsburgh, but I'm too close to Pittsburgh, in my personal opinion. But I can move out of this town, and I can move into what normally is called a racist town and move right next door to the white man. Especially if they can't use something against me like my credit report or my background check. I can move right next door to the racist Ku Klux Klan man, and we can come out to the front yard, look at each other and say, "What's up? What's up, dog? What's up? You want me to go get my piece? What's up? Okay, you ready? Set, go. We both gonna go get our rifle. Let's see who gets here the fastest." We can do that here in America. We can do that. Okay. But y'all think that it's that difficult. No, it's that easy. Okay. I can move right next door to a Ku Klux Klan member. And you know I can, because when I go into some of these racist neighborhoods and I stop at any travel route convenience store like Sheetz. Sheetz is all over the place here in America, especially here in Pennsylvania. There's Sheetz. There's about 2 Sheetz every single small town. There's at least 2 Sheetz, if not 4, in every small town. Okay. So when you go into Sheetz, if you stand there long enough, especially if you're in like a large town, like where I live, you pull up on Sheetz, you're gonna see every nationality known to man walk up in there. You're gonna see some Filipinos coming in there with their foreigners, white husbands. You're gonna see some Mexican girls coming there with their white husbands. You're gonna see a black guy with his Indian girl or a Spanish girl. You know, you're gonna see all kinds of things come here. You're gonna see these mixed families coming here and all like that. And if you're racist, you might as well get yourself a cup of coffee and a hot dog and sit there and watch. And a lot of racist people love to watch this stuff. They'll sit there at Sheetz and drink cup after cup after coffee and eat hot dog after hot dog after hot dog, watching everybody they hate walk through that door. Not only is everybody he hates walking through that door, but they're all mixed together as one. You know, he don't like Asian people and he don't like black people, but here they come in there as a married couple. Okay. He don't like, you know, and this is the thing, like, if you knew, this is another thing that bothers me about white men going over to the Philippines, because is it just me, or these same white men, are they the same ones that sit over here and will tell a black man on the bus how much he hates Asian people? He'll sit there and tell the black man how much he hates Asian people because they can't drive. Even the Filipino piece said white men are right about that. Asians can't drive. Asians have horrible driving. I had an Asian back into me one time, but they didn't do any damage to my car. But they did back into me, hit me from the side, and I got out and I looked. I said, "Oh man!" I said, "Wow." He stepped on his brakes just in time. He stepped on them brakes so hard, you know, but he was backing out, and I blew him a horn, and he didn't pay attention. I'm honking because he's coming into me, and finally, when he was able to get clear enough to see that he was getting ready to hit me. Now, what I could have done if I'd been thinking, because I didn't look in my rearview mirror, I'm thinking somebody's behind me or not. I could have put that bad boy in reverse and backed up. They did the same thing. They hit my bus out here at a big place at Waterworks Mall. They hit our bus because they didn't understand that them little tiny streets that can only fit one car. You don't need a stop sign for you to know that, because that's not a street, neither is it a sidewalk. So nobody has to yield to you coming out of there. You have to yield to them unless they can see you all the way back there. And these guys, they came right out of there. Bus driver, me and the bus driver just looking at them, coming right at us. They see us coming, and they just come out a little cubby hole and went boom, right in the side of the bus. This white man, he was already in a wheelchair. They jacked his back up and everything, you know. And this white dude sitting across as I was helping people, you know, checking the people on the bus that were injured and all like that. He's sitting there talking about, did I tell you I hate Asian people? And I'm looking around like, did I tell you my grandmama don't like white people? Like, what's your point of telling a black man this, bro? We're all minorities, in your opinion. So why are you telling me this? Did I tell you I hate Asian people? You know they can't drive. I said, oh, when did the black man learn how to drive? You mean to tell me I can drive? I didn't know you had that kind of respect for me, bro. You mean I can drive? You know. But I said, well, I says, first of all, it depends on what part of Asia you're talking about. And then you got to understand our traffic laws are different than their traffic laws. Now, obviously, this guy come out of a little cubby hole thinking that we're supposed to yield to him Whereas in his country, maybe they do yield to people coming out of the cubby holes because guess what? They have less traffic signs all over the place than we do. Duh. You know, even the Filipino P talks about this, how like she's come to America and there's like red lights, you know, there's traffic lights everywhere, stop signs everywhere. Okay, yes. If you're on a lane, if you're on a highway, we got more highways than any other nation in the world. If you're on a highway, there's going to be all kinds of side streets. You got to have lights. Where every side street at every Y or every plus, there's traffic lights. In order for anybody to get onto the highway from the left or right, you have to have traffic lights, or everybody will just keep riding on, never get off. You know, she said, "Wow, I'm just so." It's like the traffic lights drove me crazy. It's like every square mile, you know, another traffic light. Yeah. That is representation of how big of a neighborhood you're living in and how much money is invested in that neighborhood and the safety of people and children and all like that. Just like in this little village that I'm in, because I live here with more foreigners or migrants or whatever you want to call them, they don't care about these people's safety. They want you to think they care about their safety, but they don't. They got children. They got just as many children as black people got children. Okay. There should be more watch children signs out here and all like that. But yeah, these people do not know how to drive, because if I'm pulling out of my parking space, they will not wait for me. They will try to squeeze around me. A car is not a little baby boy trying to squeeze around his mama while she's carrying hot food. If you try to squeeze around a car and he don't see you, we're both going to be paying through our butthole insurance. We're both going to be paying too much for insurance for that little accident when you could have gave me a minute to get out of my parking space. And that's known with these guys up here. But then again, black folks will tailgate you all the way out of the neighborhood. And if you pull over and say, "Excuse me, man," like, whoa, back up, and you give him some clout, he will shoot you. He will pull out his gun and call it self-defense because you decide to tell him, stop riding my hide, man. Stop, get off my tail like that. That's against the law. He will just shoot you. And I'm just wondering, like, which of these white men and which of these black men that are crazy up here in America are going down to the Philippines, having their way with a little lovely Filipina. I hope and pray that none of these guys are retired or can't afford to go to the Philippines. But I think the preferences of Filipino women is bogus. I really do. Because, first of all, here in America, we're not third world. And I said this in another video. We're not third world. And we date what we are attracted to, whether we're old or young. An old man will find an old woman that's sexable, that likes having sex in her old age. Okay. And the beauty of it is that two people that are both old can find each other and find love. I had a guy who became a Christian, and he was a Christian for 5 years. He was old when he got out of prison. And he found, he became Christian, and he was in the church for 5 years, and he married a woman in the church that was around the same age as him. And she was beautiful. I didn't go to his wedding, but I finally met his wife, and she was a beautiful, hot old lady. She looked like she took good care of herself. She was probably only like 2 to 3 years younger than him. And she took good care of herself. This guy had to be clearly over 60. He had to be 65, somewhere in there. And his wife had to be 62 or something like that. And they look good together. She looked good with or without him. She looked good. And they look good together. And they got married. And they're having just as much sex as your 1 day a week Filipina. But when you go back here to America and you leave her alone, okay, for a minute, Mr. Mandingo Filipino, as they say, is blowing out her back, as they say. He's clapping her cheeks. And you come back and you're on Mike's Philippine Journey now on his channel, trying to get restoration for some money you lost because your Filipina, your little traditional, lovely, sweetheart Filipina was cheating on you. And she made sure she did the heist. She made sure she took the money with her when she cheated on you. She didn't leave the bag of money around for you to find. She took it with her. And everything that you thought was yours, that you left in confidential with her, she snatched it up. And the only business of yours that she didn't put out on the street is your money. She kept that for herself. And I wouldn't even bring it up if it doesn't get talked about every single day on every channel. Okay? And some of these guys that are exposing the Philippines are happily married to a Filipino woman. They feel like they rescued their Filipino from the debris of the earthquake, from the debris of the typhoon or something. Like they rescued her. That's how they found her. They're trying to figure out where they found her at because everybody is toxic. Everybody is toxic. These white men that are coming over to the Philippines are toxic because they say, oh, I want me a traditional Filipino. And you know good and well that takes time. Marriage takes time. You can't just, even if you go on a website, most of them went through the website, but even if you go on a website, and the Filipina P was honest about this. She talked about how men go on websites and when they get over here, their Filipina is not what they expected her to be. And she changes her mind about things and all like that. Okay. And so this is one of the reasons why a lot of foreigners and Filipinos break up because they're dating online. And then when they finally meet over a small period of time, and this is where Mike's Philippine Journey agreed with her. He usually disagrees with her, but he disagreed with her on this one, that a lot of men that are dating online and going to the Philippines never make a girl promises, never send money until you meet this girl and you give her a chance to fall in love with you and you fall in love with her and drag it out, spend some time. Because my question is, can Filipinas fake love? Well, we fake every day when we need money. And I'm not saying all Filipinos are like this. I believe some are ingrained into the culture and they don't know how to, they're afraid of slapping the culture in the face. And some are, they know the 4 or 5 M's of dating a foreigner. Remember that? The 4 or 5 M's, Mike's Philippine Journey showed the 4 or 5 M's. We have the 3 F's here in America. The 4 or 5 M's ain't much different. Okay. Yeah. But can a lot of these Filipinos be faking it? Because they have some other ulterior motive why they need to be with an older man? instead of a Filipino, number one. And number two, it's got to be an older white man or an older. Now, I can understand you being attracted to white men or white skin. The Filipino P corrected me on that too. But again, that goes to the whole reality or the whole belief in gods with a small g. And there's only one God. All the rest of them are idols. It's idolatry to think that a white man is anything special because of his white skin. And yes, I'm speaking from jealousy, but I also don't want to be in that white man's shoes. The black men aren't getting their feelings hurt like white men are getting their feelings hurt. The white men are going over there and they're like, F you if you think you're going to walk out on me after everything I've done for you. You made promises to me and all like that. F you, do your thing. I watched a video about Black Filipino TV, and this guy got on there and laughed at the Filipino that dumped him. He laughed the whole time, and he was dead serious. He said, that's all right. That's all right, because, you know, like when I was dating her, you know, I was always attracted to her friends. He's like, I got her friends on my phone right now. They keep ringing my phone off, you know. Yeah, this is what's going on. And I don't know if Filipinos understand what love is. Now, the video I watched earlier today too, and I mentioned this in the video before this, a guy was interviewing a girl, and first of all, I'm gonna say it again. That's something that's done in your culture. But see, when it comes to my woman, the woman that I'm either married to or plan to marry, I don't care about your daggone culture. You don't come around my woman without my permission. You ain't putting her on your camera, on your phone, on nothing without my permission. You talk about my black butt ending in a Philippine jail. Oh, yeah, I just ended up in jail because I'm going to punch you. And I'm going to slap her. You don't just waltz up on my woman and say, hey, can I get an interview? She better get on her goddamn phone and call me. She's not my girlfriend or my wife when I get home tonight. She's my girlfriend and my wife 24/7 when I am not around, unless I'm deceased. Unless I'm deceased, she can, well, obviously she's a widow. She can go marry, do whatever she want to do. But while I'm living, read your Bible. Read your Bible. While I'm living, you don't do anything without letting me know. And if I say no, the answer is no. I don't want no man coming around, interviewing my woman, asking my woman about our love life without me being there. I'm about to lose my mind before I even get to the Philippines. And I know this about white men. White men are not as jealous as black men. Like, white men don't mind their friends putting their hands all over their women and being silly with them. Oh, he's just drunk. That's all. You get drunk around my woman and touch her butt. Get drunk around my woman and ask her to sit on your lap. And see if I don't end up in a Filipino jail. Let me come over here in America and kill you on FaceTime while I'm trying to do FaceTime with my woman. You all over her because you're a little bit drunk. I'll probably tell her, get on a plane, get your butt over here right now. Your days in the Philippines are over, or I'm over. Which is it? I can't trust you in the Philippines. You don't know how to be lonely for me for a minute. You got to go out with your buddies, your little white buddies, okay, and let them have their way with you. And you think, oh, he's just drunk. What you hanging out with him for then? You ain't drunk. And if you are drunk, you got drunk without me? You got drunk knowing what can happen when you get drunk while I'm over here in the States? You would have been better off putting your phone on do not disturb instead of doing FaceTime with me. Now I'm about to come over there and kill somebody. I don't play that. This is why probably there are less black men with Filipinas than there are white men. And the girl said something in the video. The girl, my goodness, the girl said something in the video that shocked me. She said something in this video that shocked me. I'm going to tell you. She said something in here that shocked me. Where is it? I'd like to get back to that. I got to close, but she said something in the video that shocked me. I got to go to my history. I'll let you hear it. History, where you at? History. I want to go to, okay, latest. No, those are my videos I've done, dummy. I want to go to the history. Where's my history? You want me to go to my history? I got to go to home, shorts. Oh, okay, I'm not there yet. Okay, here's the history. Here it is right here. Let me see. And let me make sure, let me take my Bluetooth off. Make sure that's off. Okay, bye. Yeah, we are. Yeah, this is it. Okay, go play.
No, this isn't a car. It's more than.
Yep.
At the end of the day, what
No, I
really
want you.
matters
Oh,
is
okay.
So where did you guys meet?
I met him online, actually, and I met him in Christian Filipina, which I just heard from other university friends because they've also tried that one. It was hard for you to meet somebody that you truly love online because you can really see a lot of bad guys out there.
So did you?
Red flag. It's hard when you meet someone you truly love online. Do you think today, it's been years, but do you think today, if Ted Bundy was interviewing lovely Filipinas online, do you think he would look any different than any other white man? Do you think you could tell that he was a serial rapist? Do you realize that Ted Bundy was going around meeting women, okay, based upon his lovely personality and the way he carried himself and his good looks and blah, 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 blah. And he was meeting these women and he was raping these women, okay, and leaving them severed. Okay. There's something she says here. I got to catch it.
Have some bad experiences on Christian Filipina to begin with?
I don't think so. With the Christian Filipina, I don't have any bad experiences. However, I tried a lot of different apps also, On the other apps,
Nothing about
there's a lot
Filipinas.
of.
They think that being a Christian is being nice. If you're having sex before marriage, you're not a Christian. Christians don't practice fornication. When you become a born again Christian, the first thing you give up is sexual immorality. And sexual immorality starts at the boyfriend girl BS. We don't practice boyfriend and girlfriendism in the church. We have sisters in the Lord, is what they're called. And we have friends. We have male friends and we have female friends. Okay? We don't do anything with our women except give them a handshake and a hug. When it said greet the brethren with a holy kiss, that meant the women too. Okay? And that's as far as we go. All right? But as far as you living with a dude and having sex with a dude, I can understand you living with a dude because this is the only way for you to be with him on a cost efficient basis. Whereas when I got married to my ex-wife, who she became a Christian later, it was too late. And then she threw Jesus under the bus in 2 seconds later after that. But we fornicated before we got married. Okay. And the preacher came and begged us to get married. We weren't really thinking about it. He begged us to get married. And me, because this is what I want to do. And her knowing that I will probably leave her because of what the preacher said. I will probably tell her that, I'm leaving you because we can still date, but I'm leaving you. She didn't want to do that. So she started putting pressure on me basically to get married. And finally, we did that. Okay. But the truth of the matter is, the marriage didn't work out because we were fornicating. Okay. We fornicated. We never stopped fornicating, never took time out to be happily married or to be true, honest, courtship before we got married. We were living in fornication. We were living together, screwing. Okay. And then we got married. She was living in my house when we got married. She had been living in my house for over a year before we got married. Okay. We got married under pressure because I wanted to do the right thing. And she did not want to lose me, but she didn't want to change either. She didn't really want to become a Christian. She became a Christian because of me. That's why when we divorced, she wasn't a Christian no more. Okay. That's not true Christianity. But she seems to be talking here like, you see how she talks, her mannerisms. A lot of Filipinas don't cuss. The men cuss and are okay with it. You got these Filipinas married to these white men that are mother F and mother F, cussing like a sailor, and they're okay with it. Now, I heard Filipinas complain, but he was cussing before you married him, sweetheart, and you still married him. Even though it made you sick to your stomach, you still married him. Let me continue.
Bad guys out there, you can really meet a lot of them who are trying to be perverse and not very real, or they do not want to have a real relationship. Dating online is hard. Like, you can really find a lot of players out there, but then when I heard Christian Filipina, it was really a nice experience for me to talk with foreigners because they're genuine about your conversation.
So what was it about your boyfriend that you were attracted to, that you knew that he was going to be the one for you?
So what I really like about at the very beginning of our conversation was we're always talking about what books do I like, what books does he like, and we're also talking about what life it is because both of us are interested in philosophy. So he's a biophysicist and also has a background in philosophy, which also at that time it was pandemic and I was interested on what life was, what life it is, you know. It was so stressful for me at that time, but then when I met him, we were just like having a conversation that turns out to be a genuine friendship, and then it turns out to be a lover, like a soulmate.
Is there a pretty big age gap between you and your boyfriend?
Yes.
Really?
Very, very big
Okay.
age gap.
Can you
Big
share
age
that?
gap.
40 plus years.
40
age gap.
plus.
Oh, wow. So most people will say young Filipinas with a big age gap with their boyfriend only want to be with them for the money. How would you respond to that? Have you heard of turtle traders? They were
1 second. This is not my regular channel. This is one of my extra
How would
channels.
you respond to that?
That's so bad because there are a lot of Filipinas out there that are genuine to their feelings and to their love, and I would not be truthful if I would say that didn't happen because for sure that also happened. Some young Filipinas only wants money, not for me, because you know what? it's not true that young Filipinas who are in a relationship with a foreigner only wants money, because what I want was his traits, and that's what keeps our or my love for him, stronger and genuine, because he is what he is. Like I understand that there are a lot of people that builds a lot of misconceptions in their mind, because even my family and even my friends and even my clinical instructors back then when I was having my internship, and they knew what was my relationship with an older foreigner, and then they were like, all of them, I mean, they are not even supportive, or they would even say, oh my god, he's old, what's with him, and they're even confused.
Interesting. So there, you feel judged at times, even in the Philippines.
Even now, yes, even before and even now, for those people who are in a relationship with an older man, they are judged. And it's hard for us mentally to have that battle, you know. But at the end of the day, what really matters is my opinion and my boyfriend's opinion.
What about in Germany? What do you know about Germany as far as age gap?
I do not have any idea on what's gonna be like if we're gonna hold our hands in the streets. And then, I mean, I've asked him on these instances, but then he told me that Filipinas have kids already, or most of them are single moms. And as for my side, I am independent. Like, I want to be independent as I am. And the reason why I do not want to be married is because marriage for me is just a contract. So my question in my mind is that,
Okay, that's not even what I heard her say earlier, but she wants to be independent. This is why she's not married. And I guess she doesn't have kids. And she's talking about women that have kids. You know, now to me, she also said on there where her parents and her friends told her he's not going to support you. And she said that's not true. Okay, well, what if he didn't support you? This girl is dressed pretty modestly. She's living in a part of the Philippines, or she's shopping in a part of the Philippines that is very, very, uppity up. Okay. She looks like she has her own money and stuff like that as well. But yet she needs her Filipino to support her. And I think he's putting her through school or something like that. She was talking earlier like he was putting her through school or something. I'm going to say it again. One of the things that these Filipinos are doing is they are like shopping in the Philippines, in their own country. They're shopping for what's being mailed over to the Philippines. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how you go to some of these private stores? It's a thing now to go to these private stores, for example, getting stuff off of Amazon. And you got to get it within a certain time. And you got to be looking for it. You got to be an Amazon member and grab that merchandise when it gets here, because you might not be able to get it later. Okay. And this is the way these Filipinos are snatching up these white foreigners. But again, I got to close. I might do another live video or do another video after this tomorrow. But these white foreigners are, they're not what I thought they were. We just watched the video through Mike's Philippine journey. We watched the video. And I'm going to do, after I get done tomorrow, I won't be able to do it, but I'm going to do more editing on this video. And I'm going to put some hashtags in here because I want these people to know that I'm talking about them on my channel. So I'm going to hashtag some things. Filipina P, Mike, and different ones, Black TV. I'm going to hashtag them so they know that my content is out there and I'm talking about them. But These Filipinos are snatching up these foreigners, and their goals are already set. This is the last thing I'm going to say about the last video that I watched, or the last video I did. They're already set in their ways about what they want, and one of those things is to stay in the Philippines. Now, where I come from, if I'm crazy enough to come all the way to your country and marry you to be my wife, this is the difference between a wife and a girlfriend. I marry you and I say, honey, I want you to come back to the States with me. For you to claim that you're in love with me, but we're going to break up because you don't want to leave, but yet I'm vowing to take care of you with my business, my money, my retirement. I'm giving you the life that you never had here in the Philippines. You want to say to me, oh, no, I don't leave the Philippines. No, I must stay here. You were never going to be a real wife to me in the beginning. I could see if I'm from the Middle East, okay, and I'm going to take you to someplace like Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, okay. You know, I'm going to take you there and make you wear the hijab and all that kind of stuff. And you got to get used to Filipino, used to, Indian Arab culture. Okay. That's some culture shock that I wouldn't put you through. I would rather me and you move to America together and give you the life that you should have there. The most that I would do with my Indian culture or Arab culture is, you're marrying an Indian dude, let's have an Indian wedding. Or let's have a Indian slash Filipino wedding. But whatever the case is, if I say to you, as the woman that I've already proposed to, I say to you, we're moving to the United States. See, this is why I gotta let these women know the minute I end up. As soon as I see a Filipino, I'm gonna say, she's gonna say, "How you doing? What's your name?" I'm D-Roy. Oh yeah, that's a nice name. Yeah. Any Filipino I marry, she's going back to the United States with me. And see, these Filipinos or Filipinas, the only thing they want from a white man is the white man money and status. Now she's sitting here, she's saying circles around what the other girls are doing, but it's the same thing. She busted herself when she called them liars and they said that he won't support her. Why are they asking you that? Because that is all part of the culture. That is the cultural problem. And there's white men that don't have no women. They gave up on Filipino women because they do not want to give his woman, he don't want to give his woman money and she's giving it to her family and asking for more. He don't want his woman asking him to do things that have nothing to do with their marriage. Your mom and your daddy was doing fine before I met you. When I went over to your house, your mom and your daddy was doing excellent. Same thing with your sister, same thing with your brother and your cousin. Now you want me after we've been together for a while. You found some way to sneak that in there and expect me. And if I don't do it, how much you want to bet we're going to break up soon? She might say that, okay, that's one strike. What else is he going to turn her down about? Okay. And again, I'm not impressed with these women like this video right here. Did he talk with her husband or her boyfriend? I thought he was her husband. I'm just finding out that he's actually her boyfriend. Did he talk with her boyfriend? But you know what? If all he is a boyfriend and they only been together, for the course of this year or less, She don't owe that to him. And just because you stuffing that twat, that don't mean that she owes that to you. Of course, I would rather, if you're going to be intimate, he should have some authority in your life because you're intimate. But according to the Bible, if you're not married, I don't care if you've been married, I don't care if you've been sleeping together for 18 years. My ex was common law to her boyfriend. She was with him 18 years. When she walked off with him, she didn't have to get a divorce. There was no papers to sign. She just walked off and left him and hooked up with me overnight. Okay? And that's something I have to live with for the rest of my life. Lord, forgive me. But again, I'm going to talk more about Black men in the Philippines. I'm going to talk more about white men in the Philippines. I'm going to talk more about the age gap. I believe that I believe that 5 out of 15 because of the culture. And because you're still somewhat third world compared to places like America. I can understand polygamy, as I said in the last video, polygamy and dating foreigners and dating so-called kings. That's what these white men are treated like. Kings of foreign nations and surrendering to them. I can understand that in a third world country where you got all this going on around you. This is the way it is in the Philippines for a lot of these women. You got all this beauty around you, and you don't get to touch it till the white man comes and gives you more status. That's what's going on. I mean, like, these Filipinas are not even going to the park. They're not really going shopping. They're not really doing much except getting with their little girlfriends or little hootie two-shoe girlfriends and making these little videos. They're not doing much else until they get together with their white foreigner, and their white foreigner will take them out here, and they'll enjoy the Philippines. When I get married, I not only want to leave my state, but I want to leave my country, and I want to go some places. I don't want to be telling my woman, oh, well, we're not leaving the Philippines for anything. Well, I'm sorry, we're not leaving America for anything. We can go back to your country. I don't mind going to your country and hanging out there a while. Okay? But as the man of my home, as the priest of my home, as the breadwinner, as the Adam of my home, you being my Eve, I will not marry a woman that cannot move to the United States with me. I cannot marry a woman that will change on me in the middle of our relationship and say she has other goals. You don't get to do that. If a woman doesn't understand what marriage is, your girlfriend days are over. You give yourself to your husbands when you get married. Your husband is, if he says no, it's no. If he says yes, let's talk about it first. But when your husband says no, it's no. And it's easy because I will let every woman know when I get there what my goals are. And if she's not that kind of a woman, don't even bother to waste my time, and I won't waste your time. Philippines, I might go there and I might be so impressed that the Philippines might be my second home. But I am an American and proud to be. And if America is a complete tool bag, it would be the Democrats and the liberals that make America you know, weak. It's foreign relations, number one, foreign relations and liberal Democrats that make America weak. It's not Christian conservatives or conservative Christians, whichever way you want to put it. It is liberal Democrats that are ruining America. This goes from everything from feminism to the LGBTQ community to abortion, that are destroying America, all the way to robbing the American government to get more from America, while these liberal Democrats are bringing all these migrants that are illegal aliens into our nation. And what are they doing on the streets of New York right now? Beating up on cops. That's the new thing. That's the new Mexico coming over here to America. These foreigners beating up on cops. They showed a video where an Indian Arab man came over here and mixed in with the Mexicans from the border. They show a news report. He gave prophecy. He says, when I arise, you will know me when I'm risen, or something like that. I mean, he was prophesying of the destruction of America, what they're going to do to America. You will know us when we arise, something on that note, because we will arise and you will pay and you will understand then, and all this kind of stuff. But what's keeping other Asian nations from attacking the Philippines? What's keeping some of them terrorists that are living in the Philippines right now in certain cities? What's keeping them from putting a base out in Manila? What's keeping them from putting a base out in Dumaguete and in the different places? What's keeping them from targeting foreigners? I gotta close. But you know, men will go down to the jungle to get free booty. And when marriage is like a form of prostitution, all you got to do is throw money at it. Okay. I know what she said earlier. She said that thank you, Lord Jesus. She said that young men are too so to speak, into the relationship. Young men like to argue about the relationship. Thank you, Lord. She said young men like to argue about the relationship. She said old men basically are just, that's what she said. In other words, old men don't care, like this cameraman coming over there interviewing her. Old men don't care if she don't call him. A lot of them do, especially the black ones. But, a lot of them don't care. They come home and there's another man at his house. He don't freak out. Younger men, like I said in the last video, she said it right. She said it for me. Young men want to argue. In other words, they want to argue about the relationship. Okay, where old men are nicer and more relaxed. That's called senile, sweetie. That's called too old to fight, too old to stand, which I'll never be. Because if I ever get married again, whether my woman is my age, okay, the younger my woman is, the more energy goes into her. You talk about arguing, I'm going to be on your rear end everywhere you go. Where you been? Why were you there? I thought you said you was going to be home at such and such a time. Every time I come home, who's that just left my house? No. Sit down, pour me a cup of coffee. I'll pour you one. Let's have a drink. We're going to talk about this fool that just left my house. Don't make excuses. Tell me who he is and why you felt that you should go behind my back and let him in my house. We had an agreement. Who are you doing TikTok videos for? I don't even get to see your TikTok videos. You ain't doing them for me. Who you doing them for? Oh, you got an audience out there. Did I tell you there ain't nothing wrong with marrying a wrinkly old lady? Because this is what I love about. Let me talk about old white women like these Filipinas talk about old white men. They're both white and they have this in common. Older white women, even in a feminist nation now, tend to be more submissive than everybody else. And that includes a lot of times your Asian behind in this country. Okay. And these older white women tend to be at home. And they tend to be laid back and don't want to leave the house as much. And another thing that they're not talking about in the Philippines is they're not talking about the older women in the Philippines. Now, there was one video that the Filipina P did, and I didn't watch it, but she posted it, and I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. But and there's two of them, actually. What about the older women in the Philippines that are still sexy? See, to me, sexy means that when you walk down the street, you don't walk like your legs are about to crumble. Sexy to me means that you look good in that dress. Sexy to me means that you still got your hair and it's coming down your neck or coming down your back. Sexy to me means that you got a little bit of energy to have sex. If I choose to marry you, that is. Okay? That's what sexy is to me. Okay? Sexy is not, oh, look at all the lovely Filipinas in Angeles City with hardly no clothes on. And then the young Filipina wants to get up there and say, we only have sex once a week. Sex more than once a week is too much. How old are you? I know 12-year-old kids that have more sex than that. How old are you? Sex once a week. What kind of marriage you got? You can never tell. Any woman tells her spouse, and I know here in America, we got a lot of men and women that are divorced over that crap. Only a woman would do that. Men never do that. Even if they lost sexual interest in their wives, they never say that. Sex once a week? No, sex 8 days a week is too much. Sex 6 times a day might be too much. But sex once a week, that's not a marriage. That's a meetup. That's a hookup. That's a sugar baby, sugar daddy, sugar mama. You know, what is that? Sex once a week. I don't know an old fart here in America or an old lady that's going to say, oh, if we're only having sex once a week, that's fine. But you will not hear any 70-year-old woman sit there and say sex, anything more than sex once a week is too much. Because if she's sleeping with an older man, she at least wants him to touch it more than once a week. If she's sleeping with a younger man, once he wake it up, she's going to go wild and she's going to want more and more and more of it. And she's going to be content with having sex anytime he wants it. Okay? Any woman that can calculate how much sex we're going to have a week before we even do it, she is not with me. So, you know what? When I go to the Philippines, hopefully there's more to the Philippines than YouTube. When I go to the Philippines, hopefully there's more to it than the age gap. Hopefully I'm going to meet some women out there my age, and at least the 40-year-old women. I think I've seen some hot ones already. Like, come on. And there are girls out there that are married to foreigners, and the ones that are married to foreigners and their ages are close together, they're faring better than the ones that have this big age gap issue. Because why? They do more together. She's left at home by herself more. He's left at home by himself less. She's left at home, I meant to say less. She's left at home by herself less. He's left at home by himself less. They're constantly getting out and doing things. And when they get tired of doing stuff, they get tired together and they lay in the bed and have sex for the rest of the night. If, even in your old age, if you can get up in the morning and cook a man breakfast, you can get up in the morning and sleep with a man, have sex with a man. All you got to do is put a finger in there to get things started, and we're good to go. Okay? All it takes is a finger. Am I a marriage therapist? Like, come on, man. Sex once a week. From a young girl that looked like she just graduated from high school. Oh, sex once a week. Anything more than that is just too much. What? Everything. And then, they want to complain about stuff. They're lying. Nobody gets rid of a man with a big boner unless she has no sexual interest in him at all. When sex with you is like raping you, for whatever reason, unless he's actually raping you. And how is he raping you? By wanting more sex. If you are sexually attracted to him and you want to do this, and when you're at home, it's about him. So maybe he wants less food and more sex. It's still you being with your man and doing for your man as you claim you are traditional and submissive and all this good stuff. It's still you and him. If you just wanted to cook for him, but he wants to get you all saucy and wet, what's the problem? Give him an hour or two in the bedroom and then go back and finish what you was doing. Sex once a week. Let me know, any woman, whether she's old or young, let me know if you plan to give me sex once a week. You don't even have to say the word divorce. I'm going to send them to you. Because whatever way I feel about my woman at that moment, whether it's once a week, which that will happen, or whether it's 3 times a day, You better have a darn good reason. And it better be tangible. It better benefit us both why we wouldn't have sex at that moment when I want to do it. And if I'm with a woman and she never wants to have sex with me unless I initiate it. Somebody hand me a pen. This was an instant divorce. I didn't get married to somebody to act like I'm buying a prostitute. I can understand why a prostitute don't want to sleep with my old ugly behind, but I can get a prostitute to get together with me once a week and say, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want this? You grab me, kiss me. It'll just happen. Give me a hug for God's sake. Take your clothes off and give me a hug. Don't ask me what I want. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Like men, like, there's the submissive side of women. But my Bible tells me that when a woman is in the bedroom, that's more of a social thing between her and her husband. Women are having sex with their husbands for pleasure. Sarah said it in the book of Genesis. When your kids are already born, or you're having more kids in your old age, it's all about pleasure. I don't know what Abraham and Sarah did to give each other pleasure while they were having Isaac. But Sarah said if she laid down with Abraham in her old age and had sex with him, it would be pleasure. Could this be possible? And she got rid of the young girl, Hagar, the bondwoman, and said, it's only going to be me and Abraham now. I'll take it from here, Hagar. When she realized that her and Abraham can not only have children in her old age, but they can still have meaningful sex. Once a week. Once a week. I can understand me doing once a week in my old age. You, once a week? That's not a marriage. Because when you're married and you're in love, you don't know when you're going to have sex. It could happen any place, anytime. There's only one thing. There's only two things that deal with sex between a man and his wife. Number one, privacy. Make sure that your love life isn't flashed all over Manila or flashed all over, your sex life isn't flashed all over Manila or Angeles City for everybody to be taking pictures of it in the middle of the street. Make sure it's private. Number two, make sure it doesn't hurt. Make sure it's enjoyable. But if me wanting to have sex with my wife, more than once a week is painful for her, get yourself a new husband. Because I ain't married you for that. I married a woman that loves me. And this is how these Filipinas show that they're not really into these foreign men, especially these old expats, because they don't make rules for things that don't need rules. When you are in love with anyone, whether he be black, white, old, or young, you don't make rules unless you got a husband that only cares about anal sex or oral sex 24/7. There's no reason for you to make rules. Now, there are white guys up here in America who think that, they don't care about their wives sometimes. They just want her to get on all fours. They don't care about sex in different positions. They just want doggy style all the time. He don't want his ugly wife looking at him in the eye when he's stroking. I can understand if your sex life is painful and it is emotionally scarring. Okay, I can understand you making rules since he doesn't care about your feelings. But when you are in a marriage relationship, and I'm speaking for married people, when you're in a married relationship, she has her feelings towards you, and you need to be ready to fulfill them romantically, emotionally, and sexually. And you have you have your feelings towards him, and he has his feelings for you. And you need to be ready to be fulfilled when he wants to fulfill you, and you need to be ready to fulfill him. And it shouldn't be like, oh, today's Wednesday, he's going to want sex, or this is the day I promised him that I would have sex with him. So you put on your lingerie and you walk into the room and you say, you know, I don't trust a woman to love me if she can put a calendar date on when we have sex. Something might happen on Wednesday. We should have done it on Thursday. Something might happen on Wednesday. We might we might do it on Friday. Something might happen on Wednesday. We done it more than once. We got bored and did it more than once. Our plans to leave and go to America or leave and go to the Philippines or whatever got canceled. We had to cancel. So guess what? We're going to have a good time tonight. No hurt feelings. We're going to get in the bedroom and spend more time in the bedroom tonight because the house is clean, locked up. We wasn't planning on going nowhere anyway, but since we got to stay home, instead of dirtying up the house, we just need to dirty up the sheets. Sex once a week. When you are barely out of high school. Sex once a week when you are in your 20s. Huh? If anybody comes and asks to see that footage, I will look in my history and find the video where that girl said that. If you don't believe me. But this is the kind of stuff that comes out of these Filipinos' mouths about foreigners. But Mr. Filipino is clapping them cheeks, and he's doing it more than once a week. And he don't even have to be a boyfriend or a husband. He's just a dude that thinks he's cheating on your Filipino husband with you when actually you've been dating foreigners all this time. You didn't marry a foreigner and he's in the States or he's clear across the Philippines somewhere doing something for her. And she thinks this is her time to get her cheeks clapped. Then he's going to come home and she's going to be ready for that once a week. I don't trust what's going on in the Philippines, especially the age gap, because I believe there's a lot of sexual immorality within that age gap. I really believe that there's a lot of disrespect for foreigners. There's a lot of disrespect for Americans. Americans are selling their soul to the Philippines, and these Filipinos don't really love them and care about them. And I'll probably find that it all goes back to the Garden of Eden, even in the Philippines. If I do fall in love with a girl in the Philippines, it'll probably be a girl that is only 20 years or less younger than me. If I do fall in love in the Philippines, it'll probably a woman that you never see out on the street. She never comes out. She's always working and always going home and always going to the restaurant. If I see her at McDonald's, if I see her at the local Asian cuisine, whatever, that is the only time I see her. If I see her in church, oh, she's going to be really really having a good time in church. I guarantee you, somebody like that makes a better wife than these young Filipinas making these videos. These young Filipinas getting interviewed by all these different white men and black men. These young Filipinas saying dumb stuff like, "Oh, you know how big a man's penis is too much," and you know, you're lying. Ain't nobody giving up on no big one. You're lying. And the only reason why you're making a video about it is because you want to know who the white men are that got big penises, because that ain't really their stock and trade either. They got nice penises, but big ones, you trying to get black men to come in there without coming right out and saying black is what you're trying to do. I'm sure by nature of DNA, white men don't have bigger penises than Filipino men. But you talk like they do. The more melanin in your skin, and it's not really a good trait if you have, you know, a big one down there. That's more like a hormonal issue, going all the way back in time to the tribes when they ate certain foods that weren't good for them. Okay. In the African tribes, and when you got African DNA in your system, um, we have the softer version of what those diseases were that would cause a man. There was one that would cause a man to drag his penis on the ground. So he couldn't have sex because his penis would go from here. I remember watching these in National Geographic. His penis would go from here and then it would come up into a ball in the ground. It was a tumor, actually. Now, today, maybe in South Africa, they've learned to cut those. I think they found research for men that have those. A lot of men will become sexless over it. Okay. But I think they found a vaccine for it now in Africa. But they used to have this cancer where a man's penis could grow all the way to the ground and turn into a ball at the end. That's where the tumor was. So, in order to touch it, in order to do anything about it, you had to cut it. And if you cut it, because the mushroom and everything was also in there, in that ball. So, all this stuff came from different things that go on in Africa that shouldn't be going on. Stuff like sleeping with animals, okay, bestiality, and eating certain foods that here in America would be poisonous to eat, as well as incest and other things. And even going back in time to, the giants and, sleeping with giants and stuff like that, going all the way back in prehistoric times. Okay. But a big penis is not something you put yourself on a pedestal for. A good penis is something you put yourself on a pedestal for. And when Filipinos talk about penises, you lying. You lies. You lying, sweetheart. Oh, you cute little thing. You lying. You know you want to see it. You know you want. Matter of fact, there was a video I watched where a guy was talking about when he first entered the Philippines, he was sending penis pics out to women. And I was looking for, oh, you went to jail for so long. And no, he said that a lot of women were making fun of him for having a big penis. And some women offered to meet with him. And he said that he did get addressed by some people, and they did call it a misdemeanor, but he didn't get arrested for it, and he did that for a while until he grew out of doing it. and women loved it. Women laughed at it. Whereas here, you do that, it's sexual harassment. Whoever you send it to can get you for sexual harassment. Okay? Sending penis pics. That's what happened to Garvey. He was sending penis pics out. He lost his wife. This Christian rapper here, he's supposed to be a Christian rapper here in the U.S. He lost his wife, his girlfriend, and all the women that he was sending penis pics to. Everybody was embarrassed. They just left him alone. They was just gone. Okay. And the girl that he was, one of the girls that he was sending penis pics to, she charged him for sexual harassment. And they dropped him out of, I don't know if it was Sparrow or A&M or who it was. They dropped him out of the record industry. They dropped him out. So therefore, he would have to wait a while and try to reinstate himself. Or he would have to go through one of them secular, he would have to go through a secular company to do Christian music. And you can do that too. They have Christian charts too. That's how a lot of Christians that are in the music scene get away with some BS. They go to the secular companies that are labeling, you know, all the nasty stuff, and they try to go out there and call it Christian. You know, you don't have to go to Christian. You don't have to be in a Christian industry to do Christian stuff. But I got to close. D. Recruits Life Applications Officer. This was fun. Even though I didn't get out exactly what I wanted to get out, I got out a lot of the extra stuff that I wanted to say later. And I'll probably have to watch this video in its entirety because I've said so much stuff. I don't want to repeat myself in the next video. But the question is on the videos, can Filipinos fake love? I believe they can. Can Filipinos be lying about what they really feel about being married or being the girlfriend of an age gap, okay, relationship? I believe they can lie. And I believe that a certain portion of a certain small portion of Filipinos, yes, they love their old men and that's all they want to date. And they fall in love with the ones that they date. But I believe the majority is about money and status and a man's retirement. And like she said, an old man ain't going to be all up in your business telling you how to run your life, where a young man, because he ain't having sex once a week, he on that booty, he going to let you know, who's this man coming up here interviewing you without my permission? What are you sitting there telling this man all of our business without my permission? And I would say, well, Dera, how do you know that she didn't talk with him first? How do you know that it didn't take them 3 days to set this all up? Well, I know that this goes on in the Philippines. I'm watching men stop women on the street and just interview them. And they say all kinds of things to the girl. Let her know how pretty she is and how good she looks in her clothing and all kinds of stuff. They trying to make moves, and then she doesn't bother just tell them that she has a boyfriend until the end of the video. Because they getting ready to ask her to go somewhere with them off camera, and she doesn't want to get caught because she's not far away from him and far away from people that know him, not to get caught. I got to close. More later. God bless you. Thank you for watching.